always today, George.
I mean, this is a day.
That's right.
A talking mouse, a jealous cat, a tiny sailboat in Central Park. Sounds simple, and it looked simple. But behind Stuart Little was a visual effects revolution nobody saw coming, a casting process full of surprises, and a book that powerful people tried to kill before it ever reached shelves. Let's count down 15 facts that make Stuart Little more iconic than you remember.
Adoption isn't for everyone, but you seem like the kind of people with plenty of love to share.
Number 15. E.B. White wrote Stuart Little in 1945. Before it ever reached readers, it nearly didn't. Anne Carroll Moore, one of the most powerful voices in American children's literature at the time, read an early draft and sent a scathing letter urging White not to publish it. She considered the premise morally unsound and confusing for children. White ignored her completely. The book went on to sell millions of copies, has never gone out of print in 80 years, and is now considered a defining work of American children's literature. By the time Hollywood came calling, it had already outlasted every critic who doubted it.
You look somewhat like a mouse.
Yeah, well, I am somewhat like a mouse.
Number 14. In 1999, putting a fully photorealistic digital character into a real-world environment with natural light, reflective surfaces, and unpredictable textures was genuinely unsolved territory. Industrial Light and Magic spent months building tools from scratch just to make Stuart work. The fur simulation alone required entirely new software. How does fur catch light on a rainy sidewalk? How does it compress against a couch cushion? Every interaction was individually engineered. The tools built for this film didn't stay on this film. They spread across the entire industry and shaped how digital characters were made for years afterward.
Family. Wow. Well, for family, you've certainly come to the right place.
Number 13. The producers needed a voice that carried warmth, optimism, and cheerful resilience without ever sounding forced. Michael J. Fox came immediately to mind, not just for his voice, but for who he was. By 1999, Fox had publicly disclosed his Parkinson's diagnosis and was already deep into the advocacy work that would define the rest of his life. He understood, in a deeply personal way, what it meant to keep moving forward when the world was pushing back. That quality, the refusal to stop believing things will work out, is the entire engine of Stuart Little's character. You can hear it in every single line.
You spit Stuart out this instant, Snowbell. Spit him right out.
Number 12. On paper, Snowbell was the obstacle, the jealous cat, a secondary antagonist to be eventually won over. Nathan Lane turned him into something else entirely. Lane played every beat with such comedic precision. The wounded pride, the theatrical outrage, the constant indignation at being disrespected by a mouse. That test screenings made the decision for everyone. Snowbell's role was expanded mid-production. Scenes were added specifically to give Lane more room. A character designed as a plot device became one of the most memorable things in the whole film.
Remember, I want a little brother, not a big brother.
Number 11. Early casting conversations for Mrs. Little leaned toward more conventionally maternal actresses. Warm, domestic, safe. The producers eventually decided that approach would make the character feel static. They needed a mother whose decision to adopt a mouse felt like something this specific person would genuinely do. Geena Davis brought exactly that. An Academy Award on her shelf, a career built on unconventional choices, and a screen presence that was warm without being soft. When her Eleanor tells the family Stuart belongs with them, you believe it instantly, because Davis plays the conviction as something already completely settled inside the character. That certainty is the whole scene.
It's my guess these two sickos are on some kind of cross-country mouse-killing spree.
Number 10. The Central Park boat race looks almost entirely computer-generated. It is not. The production team built a working-scale model of the Wasp as a physical reference and filmed at the actual conservatory water in Central Park. the real pond where model boat racing has been a tradition since the 1930s. Real boats on real water. The visual effects team then extended, enhanced, and populated that genuine location with Stuart and the race elements around him. The seamlessness of the blend is why almost nobody watching thinks to separate the two. That invisibility is its own kind of craft.
Anchor up.
Jack.
Stays all batten.
Jack.
Rudder.
Number 9. Because Snowbell needed to interact convincingly with actors and furniture, the production brought in multiple trained cats throughout filming. Different animals for different types of shots. If you have spent meaningful time around cats, you already understand the problem. Cats are not interested in hitting marks. They are not concerned with the needs of a film schedule. Shots carefully designed around specific behaviors were abandoned when the animals simply refused to perform them. The visual effects team was simultaneously building a digital cat, while a real cat on set was declining to cooperate with their reference photography. By multiple crew accounts, it was frequently absurd. Number 8. Rob Minkoff's resume before Stuart Little was built almost entirely in animation. His most recent credit was co-directing The Lion King for Disney. Impressive. But the studio was handing him a live-action production with real actors, complex locations, and a major visual effects integration challenge. His animation background turned out to be a genuine advantage. He understood the language of digital character performance in ways many live-action directors did not, which made his collaboration with the effects team unusually fluid. The Lion King had taught him how to make an audience believe in something that doesn't exist. Stuart Little asked him to do exactly the same thing, just on a real New York street.
Is he gonna That's swallowing all that detergent. Amazingly, I think he's gonna be fine.
Number 7. The Little family brownstone interior was not a real house. It was a complete set, built on a soundstage, engineered from the ground up around one specific requirement. Every surface, every piece of furniture, every doorway had to work for a 4-inch digital character. The production designer built the space so Stuart could interact with it convincingly, so his footsteps registered correctly on the floor, so his weight read properly on the couch cushions, so the camera could track a human actor and a tiny mouse in the same frame without the geometry of the room breaking the illusion. The fact that it feels like a place someone actually lives in, rather than a technical solution, is the whole point. Number 6. When the film released in December 1999, critics found themselves genuinely uncertain how to categorize what they had seen. Michael J. Fox performed the voice. The character's personality came entirely from his delivery, but the physical presence was digital, designed, animated, and rendered by a team of technical artists. Where does performance end and digital construction begin? These questions didn't have clean answers in 1999. They still don't now. Stuart Little was the moment a theoretical industry conversation became unavoidably real, the point at which a digital character carried enough emotional weight that the question of whether it counted as acting could no longer be avoided.
Smokey! Hey! Smokey! Keep it down! Hey, it's me, Lucky. I just heard from the Brooklyn Cats.
Number 5. The studio was cautiously optimistic going into the December release. The effects were impressive, the cast was strong, but nobody was certain whether a film built around a digital mouse would connect the way a real animal or traditionally animated character might. Stuart Little opened to over $35 million in its first weekend. By the end of its worldwide run, it had earned over $300 million against a production budget of around $130 million. A sequel was greenlit almost immediately. The mouse that publishers had doubted in 1945 had just proven himself at the box office in terms nobody could argue with.
George, like a hot dog?
Check.
Number 4. Snowbell's alliance with the Alley Cats was written entirely as a mob film parody. The meetings structured like organized crime negotiations, the power dynamics mirroring a small operator dealing with larger criminal infrastructure. Every beat was designed to land on 2 levels simultaneously. Children watching took the threat completely seriously. Adults recognized exactly what they were watching. The voice cast leaned fully into the joke with the kind of specificity that makes a parody work without becoming self-conscious. It is the kind of layered writing that family films do best when they are genuinely trying. And here they were.
What type of news?
They had an accident.
Who?
Stuart's parents.
Number 3. Alan Silvestri wrote the music for Stuart Little, Back to the Future, Forrest Gump, The Avengers. The name alone tells you the caliber of composer attached to this film. What he brought here was nothing like his biggest work. Deliberately quieter, warmer, more intimate. The main Stuart theme is the kind of musical writing that lodges in your memory without you noticing it happening. Small, optimistic, slightly wistful. It holds together even the film's most sentimental moments without tipping them over. Decades later, people who haven't seen this film since childhood still recognize it the moment it plays. That is not an accident.
Hope you like it.
Sure is roomy.
Number 2. Underneath all of it, the VFX, the comedy, the boat race, the cat gang, Stuart Little is a film about a single question. What actually makes someone family? Not biology, not logic, not the world's expectations of who belongs where. Just the decision to love someone and mean it completely. The Little family never hedges on this. They decide Stuart is theirs and act accordingly from that moment forward. The conflict comes from everyone else struggling to accept what the Littles have already settled internally. That clarity of conviction is why the film holds up across generations, and why children accept the premise instantly, without question, every single time.
Spit him right out.
Stuart, all right? Wait.
Number 1. Stuart Little solved problems in 1999 that the whole industry had been stuck on for years. The fur simulation, the photorealistic digital character in natural light, the seamless integration of a computer-generated presence into a live-action world built for human-scale actors. Landmark achievements, every one of them. Within 5 years, the tools built for this film had been absorbed and exceeded. Within 10, what it achieved looked like an early step. Within 20, casual viewers had no idea any of it had ever been difficult. But that invisibility is the point. The goal of every visual effects breakthrough is to make itself unnecessary to notice. Stuart Little achieved something so completely that the achievement vanished into the fabric of how films are made. The Mouse nobody believed in turned out to be one of the most important films of its year. Not despite being a sweet story about a small mouse. Exactly because of it.
Mom, Dad, George! I miss you all so much. I thought I'd never see you again.
That's 15 facts that make Stuart Little more iconic than you remember. If this made you want to go back and watch it, do it. Hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment. What's your most vivid memory of this film? See you in the next one.